Welcome to the Side Out Society podcast, your go-to place for the culture, stories, and community surrounding women's volleyball. I'm one of your hosts, Tiff Oshinsky.
And I'm Lindsay Harwood, your other host.
Happy New Year, Lindsay. So good to be back.
Happy New Year. I know we took a 2-week break and happy to be back. Although I did play a lot of volleyball over the break, so there's never a break for us.
I did nothing, but I did make a New Year's resolution plan to play more. Did you make a New Year's resolution?
I'm not a big resolution girl, but I was like, I'll just beat my family in beach volleyball over vacation. So
that's fair. I made 2 New Year's resolutions. One was I'm going to work out more so that I'm going to dominate on the adult rec league squad and just, crush it. And then my other resolution was to make Side Out Society even bigger and better than it already is. And I feel like we're starting that with this episode, our first episode of 2026, because our guest can actually help me with both of my resolutions. So I'm going to introduce her. She's the epitome of volleyball royalty. She's a 4-time Olympic medalist, including a gold medalist, a world champion, and one of the most recognizable faces in women's volleyball. So much so that she has been nicknamed the Governor. She's a millennial who played back when side-out scoring was still a thing, and she's still playing professionally today. And now she's also a founding athlete and owner in League One Volleyball, because at a certain point, you don't just play the game, you start shaping the future of it. She's the absolute GOAT, and she's our first guest of 2026, setting the bar ridiculously high for us. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jordan Larson.
Hey guys. Yay! Thanks for having me. Sorry, my dog, you hear the squeakiness in the background. I'm sorry. I was like, oh gosh. And I was like, I don't want to yell mid thing, but she just kind of, does her own thing.
What kind of dog?
Yeah, she's a English bulldog, but man, she gives me a run for my money, man.
What's her name?
Her name is Wynn, W-Y-N. I didn't know what to name her, and I got her, and my friends were like, well, you like to win a lot, so why not win? So that was kind of how she got her name. So, but man, she is,
it's perfect.
Stubborn as all get out. So,
and how old is Wynn?
She just turned a year. Well, I mean, a little over a year. So I just technically had her gotcha day 2 days ago. So, but yeah, she's still very much a puppy. It's like I'm down, and she's just not listening at all. It's like, so she went away for 2 weeks, tried to get some discipline going, and still it's just stubborn.
At least she's cute.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you get with a little puppy, but that's why you love them anyway, no matter
exactly.
what.
We'll try it. We're trying. Yes.
What's it like having a puppy and training and doing everything that you're doing?
Yeah. So I started the season last year and was brand new puppy, and I was like, I don't know if I would recommend that to anyone. That was probably not the smartest move, but yeah, now, she goes to the rover when I'm gone, and I don't know, we have a good routine. I definitely trying to find a better balance, because I feel like she needs probably more exercise. I come home from practice and I'm like, I'm not moving. So, but yeah, no, she's great and full of energy. So on times that I'm not full of energy, so we'll see.
Oh my God. I was going to actually ask you if you were a dog or a cat fan, but that was going to be a later on question, but I guess we now know you're a dog fan.
Yeah. So she's already presenting herself and making it known that she's here. So she's I would say I'm definitely more of a dog person than cat.
Well, I'm excited to hear her squeaks throughout the podcast episode.
Yeah. She doesn't have it anymore, so hopefully you won't hear it. So apologies in advance.
No worries. So I said my New Year's resolution. Did you make any New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, I try not to. I try to consistency over time, lifestyle. What can I do that's relatively achievable? I don't know, but I think, as retirement gets closer, what does that look like? I think you said, you're working out more. I know myself, being in a team environment, it's nice, right? Because you're kind of holding each other accountable. You can get through some stuff. But I don't know, working on your own, that's another thing that I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I can do that. So we'll see what happens with that.
You have Wynn now to work out with you.
I know. Exactly.
You can do squats holding her. You can bench with her.
True. I should do that. Yeah. I think she'd be like, what is happening? But no, I need to walk her and all the things. But technically I got this breed because English bulldogs are like supposed to be like pretty stationary, you know, like let's just chill. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So as she's biting her bed, win, stop.
It's like no matter the breed, I feel like puppies are just insane.
Oh man, she is just, you know, it's just she buys something and that's what, you know, I'm like, all right, I'm not sure what to do.
I have a stubborn dachshund and they're the same way. She's 5 and she's still crazy. But we love her.
Yeah. I'm like, eventually she's gonna, you know, no. So we'll see.
So, well, you're leaving for Austin very soon for first serve. Is Wynn coming with you, or you're gonna?
No,
you're gonna
I have a rover that I take her to. Okay. So she goes to her for a couple of days, and she loves it there. They have another dog, and they have a couple kids. So usually when she comes back to me, she sleeps for like a day. You know, she's kind of got the energy out. So, but she loves going there. So it's nice that I love that app. It's so convenient, and yeah, it's just really, really nice to have.
Not sponsored by Rover, but we could be sponsored by Rover. Just throwing it out there. So first serve, talk to us about the second season. I mean, first season I thought went great. I was working with League One Volleyball and you guys hosting Serving Pancakes. And it was fun to watch this new league that you guys created, one that you helped found as a founding athlete. And here we are, season 2. What's different? What's the same? What can we expect?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I can't believe it's already here. I feel like off season went by relatively fast. There were days that were slow. But I think it feels more like a little bit well-oiled machine now. You know, I feel like coming back, at least in our side of the gym, it's like people know their job and kind of what they're doing. We've added more staff. It just seems like things are running a little bit more efficiently. But I think what you're going to see the same of is just really high level volleyball, right? Obviously this first game is the finals from last year, us in Austin. So it's going to be a fun rematch just to see, you know, what some time off has done for some people. And then also a lot of people have kept playing. So, and I think what makes this league tough is that everyone's pretty even. So you really don't know each night, like who can, you know, take the win away. And so it's just going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, Lindsay gets to go out. I'm going to be home watching from my actually, I have an adult rec league game that night that hopefully I'll be fired up for. But
Lindsay gets we're all basically the same age. And Jordan, are you an 86 baby?
Me?
Jordan? Yeah, she's 6 days older than me.
Okay, yeah, we're all 86 babies. So yeah, Tiff and I in our rec league, and you're still killing it. So it's so impressive.
But I love that. I love that. When I came to New York, I just was so impressed by just the amount of people that were wanting to learn. I love the fact that you like the adult camp. I was like, people want to know. I've had a lot of friends that are like, you know, playing on and they go to USA Nationals, you know, afterwards and they're like, hey, teach me. Hey, like, I love that. Like, I think that was the first time I've ever done something like that. And I feel like that should be like widespread because people kind of want to learn and see and also how to keep their body healthy while they're still trying to be active. So I was very impressed and it was a lot of fun to see all the people getting after it in New York. So
yeah, and if you don't know, we're talking about the Love partnered with Big City Volleyball, a club in New York. And so Jordan and Haley Washington and
Justine Wangarantes.
Oh yeah, sorry. Justine Wangarantes was also there. And it was sold out in under, I think, fast. 6 minutes. And it was so fun. Like everyone was really good and we all wanted to learn. It was just such a great turnout. And so thank you for doing that and for coming. Yeah, I think it was really fun.
It was great. I hope that, you know, we can come back and I think they're planning on it, but I also had fun. It was cool to just see a lot of people eager to get in the gym and get better. And that's the kind of vibe you hope for and wish for in those situations. So
now that you are a part owner, but like you also did this Big City Love, you know, kind of coaching clinic for adults. Like, do you want to focus more on the business side? Do you want to go into coaching more? I mean, you worked with Nebraska last year too as like an assistant coach. Have you kind of figured out what you want to do, or are you sort of still like, I want to do it all?
Yeah, you know, it's like I want the best of both worlds. It's like my dog. I'm like, I want you part of the time, and you know, maybe sometimes you can, you know, it's probably like having kids, you know. But so I'm kind of just dabbling still. I have enjoyed learning a lot of the business side and understanding just how to develop that. I think also the formation of team, like how do you get all the right people in the right places, you know, for them to be successful. I love that piece of it. I also love the teaching side of volleyball. Like I think that technique, there's a lot of ways to do it, right? I do think there's, efficient ways to go about it. And so like being able to, I don't know, also navigate those conversations with athletes and when they're struggling. And I also love the mindset piece. Like, I think that for me, I've had a layer of talent for so long, right? But at some point, like, talent matches talent. And so what's going to set you apart and how long can you endure? And that's the mindset piece. And so, I don't know, I just think a lot of like what you tell yourself and how you choose to show up in practice determines how you show up in a game. So I don't know, I'm really just trying to it's almost like it's a great feeling, right? I have a lot of options, but sometimes too many options, then you don't really know kind of the path. So I feel lucky for that, but I'm also just trying to figure out what is the best path. And maybe that won't be right away. Maybe that's going to figure out 10 years from now and I'll have a better idea of that. But just trying to give myself some patience and grace and know that, it took me 30 years to be in a position to be a pretty good volleyball player. So I know that it's going to take time to maybe try to be good at something else. So
yeah, seriously. I mean, it's like decades of you being at the top of your game, basically. What did you tell yourself, and like, what did you do on the court, off the court, that has allowed you to play for so long at such a high level?
Yeah, the weight room has been huge for me, and nutrition as I've gotten older, and understanding like, game ebb and flows a little bit, but how can, again, I think you asked about New Year's resolutions, but like, what can I consistently do every day? It's not about being average, but it's just like perfection doesn't exist. And so allowing myself to just be, all right, I feeling this type of way, where can I make up for my game here? Where can I do here? Like, just really kind of playing a game of adjustments as I go. And I've been also very lucky that I've been surrounded by a lot of great coaches, players, people that have understood that like sometimes I just can't, get after it. And I also get probably 2 massages a week, too. So it's like, again, I think LeBron spends how much money on his body? Like, I don't spend that much because I don't got the kind of cash. But the point is like, I do, and, I have done like some intensive like blood tests to figure out what I'm deficient in, so vitamin supplement, those kind of things, and just really trying to hone in on a lot of those things too. And then first and foremost, it's the mind, like, nobody gets through hard, by sitting back and watching it happen. It's like, what can you consistently tell yourself? And all right, what's my choice today? How do I choose to show up? And all that's within your control.
This is like my Jordan Larson workout mindset plan 2026 to get me to be the best adult.
This, yeah.
I'm going to be the best adult rec league player thanks to your advice.
You're welcome. No, it's also fun too. It's like, how can you push your body? What can you do? And the fact that you guys are still kind of like, that's so awesome. So
yeah, it takes more time to stretch, and I was like, I get to the gym earlier than I used to, so I can't imagine what you're going through.
Recovery, for us, we both have kids, like young kids, and it's like the recovery of making sure that you get your stretch. My Theragun is my best friend.
Exactly. No, it's and I think sleep too is so important. I don't know, that is something I've struggled with as I've gotten older. I think as we get older, like sleep tends to decrease anyways, so how can you still make that a priority? And because that helps the most. But no, kudos to you guys. Honestly, I will say that like the retirement piece and working out, I'm just curious to see like how that's gonna affect me, what's gonna be my new norm, and am I gonna want to play in a rec league? Like, that's what makes it weird too, is like after this, people are like, you go to the rec league, you're like, hey, well, what happened to you? And it's like, well, I played it for a long time. Doesn't still mean I'm good at it. So, it's like,
I mean, can you imagine being on the other team and you're like, oh, sorry, Jordan's on the other. We're playing Jordan tonight.
I know, but it's like, it's a weird like expectation. But then it's like, sometimes I'm like, I just want to fit in and like, drink beer with the rest of them and just have a good time, but yeah, it's just different. So,
well, it seems like you're still enjoying the game, and I feel that at the way you're talking about it. And like, how has that changed? I think when you first started, I know you played with Danny Buscom Kelly in Nebraska compared to, I guess, and now you're coaching and playing with a lot of younger athletes as well. Like, how has the mindset shifted, or like, how has your outlook shifted, or like, how's your coaching changed just as you've grown in your game and then seeing like a new generation of athletes come in?
Yeah, it's evolved and transitioned quite a few times. I think I had a lot of goals myself, right? I wanted to be an Olympian, and then I was like, okay, well, we're striving to win gold, and like a lot learning along the way that like all those things are wonderful and they're great, right? But is it actually what you're striving for, or what's the purpose behind it? And it's really, when you think about winning gold, you know, the moment they put the thing around your head, that little heavy thing, that, you know, shiny thing, it's only a snapshot in time. You know, it's so much more about the journey and the lessons and the relationships. And I think now it's more about, for me, like, what I wish I would have known sooner, that now I'm translating to, you know, the younger generation, like, hey, you're thinking this, like, what about this, you know? And I think where I feel like I'm in a little bit unique situation is that, yes, I'm an athlete and I have athletic ability, but again, I don't think that I'm above average physically, that I can outpower a lot of people, and I haven't been able to do that for a long time. So I've had to find other solutions to be successful, because, to be honest, like, my vertical, the highest I've ever touched in my career is like 10-2, like, which, if you had to take some of the best athletes in volleyball, that's kind of a joke, right? And so when you think about other solutions of how to win the game, like, you can kind of help others kind of find, well, where's their max peak and how can they be successful with the capabilities that they have that may be unique to them. And so I think having those side conversations with even my teammates now and coaching, like, that's where I find the love. It's not about here. It's never really been about here, but obviously, like, self-motivation, striving for something, of course, you have to have some sort of end goal. But now it's more about just, like, how can I share, and how that's where my piece has come, is like, now my story's been written already and the past has happened, you know, but now I can share and how to make and learn to win this game, you know?
Have you noticed that the younger generation of players, the ones that are both on your team and also the youth clubs that, you know, Love Nebraska works with, or that Love works with in general, like the Love clubs, have you noticed that they have a similar mentality, or is it kind of like different depending on what generation these girls are in?
Yeah, it is different, you know, but I think our parents said, oh, we were different, you know? So
Right.
It's like, how do we, like, find this, what is different about it? The only thing I would say that is of concern is that we have these phones, right? Like, we have so much access to the now, and I fall victim to it too. It's like Amazon delivery, home, you know, like, it's so easy, right? And I think that when you talk about being good over time in sport, like, and being in it for a really long time, I'm unsure if the capacity is large enough to be able to go for a long time, you know, but maybe being in the States, that will change a lot of the narrative for a lot of these young athletes. My only thing is, like, when things get hard, are they able to sit in it? Or is it like, you know, maybe I'll go over here. And maybe that's not a fair statement to say, because I don't know that answer. My only concern would be the addition of just the access that we have. Like, how hard are you willing to go above and beyond that?
I know you mentioned about playing and okay, maybe your vertical wasn't so high, but like, as a fan watching, I think that's why you're so good. It's like, I feel like you have a sixth sense. I mean, you've been playing, so you know, but just like the way you know the court and your IQ and whether you're going to roll shot or tip or whatever it is, it's like you always do the perfect, like you just seem to know what to do in the right moments. And sometimes I've heard like that's really hard to coach because that's just like a sixth sense.
Yeah. So obviously I think longevity has been a huge thing. And, but I think early on in my career, again, I had to learn that like the physicality piece, like was only going to get me so far. So what can I do to set myself apart? And I think when I got to the national team, there was a new way of teaching of like, what are you seeing? Like, and what's the information that you can take prior to the play, meaning hitter tendency, even serving zones, you know, sometimes the coach is like looking over at the court and they're like looking at the person they're about to serve. Well, if I know exactly where they're serving, why would I just not step into the place that they're serving? Like, why are we waiting for that and then reacting, right? So it's, can I get more information prior to the play that I'm even seeing the setter call a play and I'm like calling that out before it even happens, right? So I think there's just a lot of information that can happen prior, and then also things that are happening mid-play that like taking the hitter's history and then what the ball is in relation to their body, and then what does the situation present it. And with all those series of decisions, I can make the appropriate decision with the amount of time that I have. So, but it's hard because you have to let go of the control of the fact that you don't have a coach saying, hey, stand here, do this, right? Like you can, but for me, I think that I've had to learn that I can make that decision on my own, and have a general system in place, but then being able to work outside that actually has expanded my read for the game and knowledge of the game, if that makes sense.
Fascinating. Would you ever consider being an analyst and going on TV and like dissecting?
Yeah, I've thought about it. I just, I think it's, the general fan, like maybe it's too high level of understanding, like I would talk too much about what's going on, or, I don't know. I've thought about it. But I think volleyball people, that makes sense, but the common fan of who's maybe turning in, like, I don't know if that is something, also. So I don't know. We'll see. I think for me, it's helping athletes even think about the game differently. I think, we've had even a couple of European players, I think most of their career, it's like, well, this is just the system we play. And it's like, yes, you have a general idea of what's coming, but why would you make that move if the situation isn't even giving that solution? Like, why don't you allow yourself the ability to make the right decision with the information that you have in front of you? But I think so much of us as athletes, we want to control every little thing and be able to like hold it in that, I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. About like the European leagues. So I feel like I've seen so many people talk about the different leagues, whether it's in Japan or Brazil or Turkey, all over the place versus what's going on in the US. Can you just, for those who don't actually understand what's going on but think they do, talk about like the differences between these leagues, if there is even any difference between them in the style of play, pace of play, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is mild differences. One thing is that they've been working for 30, 40 years, right? Even 50, right? Like when I was in Turkey, my club had celebrated 50 years, and so it's like they have an understanding of just how professional sports work, and so maybe it's not something that we're used to here, but I would say the level of play, you have your top leagues, Turkey, Italy, I would say Russia at one point, but I think that's kind of gone downhill just with the, stuff going on in the world. But I feel like, they've just had a general foundation and growth that, we just haven't seen here in the States. But I also think that it's kind of cool that we've been able to play internationally, kind of get that experience and different level. I will say that back in the day when I went to Russia, like their system was a little bit higher, so, and slower. But now I think it's kind of caught up to speed and most people are playing like the men's game now.
Well, I mean, Love is bringing in all these international players too, and not just as players, actually as coaches as well. So I feel like you guys have integrated very well, especially for a league that just started the professional branch last year. So,
exactly.
You have a lot of international players coming in who bring that level of play that everyone's like, that the overseas leagues have that the U.S. doesn't, quote, quote. But I feel like you are able to show that, U.S. can play like this and we're going to be good. And there's a reason why Team USA medals every year that we're in the Olympics.
Yes, exactly. No, we definitely have the talent, it's now we have the opportunity more. So, so much of our girls, they would go 1 or 2 years overseas and then just the sacrifice from being away from family and friends just was too large. So for them to be able to now be home, again, I will see maybe the longevity of career is going to be longer and people are going to want to stay in it because now they can have a job and be home and celebrate things. And, that's all important. So, but yeah, no, it's so cool. I'm grateful for my years overseas and getting to know different cultures and different people and different styles of play. Really, it's not that extreme, but it is different. And so I think being able to understand that and then being able to translate that here as well.
Now you're a co-owner of Love Omaha. Well, no, now Love Nebraska. We've rebranded. And John Cook is owner of the Omaha Supernova. So what's the rivalry that goes on? Like, what's the behind the scenes with you two?
Yeah, no, I really haven't spoke to him about it. It's definitely, I think there's a little bit market confusion here in Nebraska, of just what's going on. And, obviously we have a lot of fans of the sport, and then also of the people, right? Like John has done so well, as a coach and, but then you think about Alexi Rodriguez is on our team, right? And just like her following, like right out of college. So it's really cool to see just how they're all merging. I do think that MLV has done a really good job of marketing, and it's interesting to see just the difference of leagues and how we kind of set ourselves apart and what makes us different as well. So, but yeah, no, John and I, we haven't spoke really much since, but which is okay. And, but I think that we're both trying to grow the game, and I would anticipate that's what his motivation is as well.
And Love didn't have ownerships last year for their inaugural season, but this year there's a bunch of owners, and the Texans are part owners of Love Houston. You're part owner of Love Nebraska. I mean, where did the ownership come in, and when did you decide that you wanted to be part of that?
Yeah, it kind of came in, it was kind of initially in conversation even to start, obviously the franchise situation and what that looks like. And so I think in general, creating a solid product and people wanting to buy in and be a part of it, and so I think you're seeing teams being sold off as the years goes on, because it's, we're creating a brand for ourselves and building, some equity and people wanting to see it thrive. So you're going to continue to see that. There's still a couple more teams that are being sold. And again, I'm curious to see kind of how this all, translates over the next couple of years just in general and how we continue to expand.
Yeah. And thanks to those ownerships, we now have Minnesota, Los Angeles, and San Francisco coming in 2027. Lindsay and I are waiting for Love New York City or Love Northeast, whatever you want to call it.
I know, we're waiting.
We're ready. Just tell us what we need to do, and we'll help make an ownership group like Lindsay and I are in.
I love it. Awesome. I love it. No, it's and that I think at least in this area, we've found a lot of, motivated people to want to be a part of it and see it. And I think people here, they're crazy for volleyball. So it's really cool to see.
What do you want to see grow? I think that's why Tiff and I started this in general, was we're diehard volleyball fans, but also want to see the sport grow. And I think you're such a great reason of why people have started to love volleyball over the years. And I'm just curious, what do you want to see from the sport? I know we can all agree, we want to see the sport grow, but what can we be doing to expand it? What do you want to see? What's your dream for the sport? Just, sky high. I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I think obviously primetime TV would be amazing, and I think also just personally we've had a lot of great, Olympians that have had a great career in it, right? But post playing, it's okay, well, what am I going to do next, right? Where, most men that are playing, it's once they retire, it's they can kind of dabble in some things, or if they just want to retire, they can, and so I think that if anything, it's this financial freedom that females can have, and that they can have this ability to have families when they want. They can have a baby and they can come back and play. They can continue to be in the sport. What does that look like, and what role is that a GM? Is that ownership group? Is that a coach? Is that a mental coach? I think there's a lot of things that are going to come along with it that can help them stay in the sport. And then it can only eventually evolve and help it grow. So yeah, just more eyes on the sport. And we already have a ton of youth playing it. So I can only imagine that that's going to continue to grow as well.
Yeah, I feel so I was coaching a high school team this past season, and I had them for an assignment because I gave them homework. It was I want you girls over the Labor Day weekend to find a player that plays your position, whether it's college, pro, whatever it might be, and watch what they play and how they play, and come back to me with what you saw and what you hope. So I'm there were some girls who watched, but it's kind of a really interesting disconnect where a lot of the girls play and love the sport, but they don't know the full potential of what's out there. I think because there wasn't really any pro leagues in the U.S. at the time. Totally.
And I think the more eyes that are on it, the more, I think the learning curve is going to go higher. And, it took over 60 years for USA Volleyball to win a gold medal to start, you should be doing that every time, in my opinion,
Hell yeah.
So Yeah. Yeah. It's really hard to do it. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But I do think that we have the talent to be able to, repeat that and continue to do that. So
where are your medals right now?
My dad keeps them in a safe place.
I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned the phone, how it's like this thing now that is kind of the white elephant in the room when it comes to everything in life. But one of the big things that I feel like has really helped the sport is social media and the younger generation and their TikToks and stuff like that. And I mean, thanks to Lexi, we've been seeing you on TikTok. I mean, are you happy to be doing it? Are you excited? Like, did you ever think you would be doing that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little out of my comfort zone. And like you said, there is a lot of more eyes on the sport because of that, And so again, there's a lot of positives too. It's definitely different, I think for me as an athlete, I was like, man, if I don't have my routine and I'm not like goofing off and things before a match, like I could not perform. And they just have a different, ability to be able to check in and check out. Like personally, I couldn't do that. But I think when they've grown up in that environment, that's just what they've known. So for them to be able to do that makes more sense. So I'm definitely still adjusting. I still have to like check myself and be like, oh yeah, they're focused. Like we're good, it's fine, but it's definitely been an interesting transition for sure. But I don't know, we just have such great people on our team, honestly. Like Lexi is like one of the coolest people, and I don't know, it's been awesome to just get to know her and get to know just all the members of our team. We have a special group. So
well, what is your goofing off or pregame ritual?
Me?
Yeah.
I kind of I wake up, I eat the same thing every day. I have a coffee. I usually have a coffee before. I say what?
What's the thing that you eat that's always the same?
Oatmeal every day. Yeah, oatmeal, but it's like packed with like, chia seeds, hemp seeds, flaxseed, protein, usually a fruit on top with peanut butter. So I usually pack it full, and then I usually just do like a pregame coffee. Like before I used to be like real rigid, like I had to shower and I had to put my right sock on. Like it got to the point where then I really couldn't perform at all. Yeah, now it's a little bit more laid back, but I would say that's kind of the, try to nap, but now I can't nap because I'm old. So yeah.
Adding this to my Jordan Larson Adult Rec League
exactly.
Workout plan.
What do I need to do? Exactly.
We had like a few little lightning round questions that we also wanted to ask you. Okay. Just like some silly stuff. Because part of what we wanted to do with Side Out Society was like not just talk about the sport and what's going on the court, but get to know people off the court as well. So what is one product that you cannot live without?
Oh, is coffee a product? Probably not.
It can be.
It counts.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
How do you take your coffee?
Starbucks mobile order is on repeat. I just drink an Americano. It's nothing fancy, but it's like the first thing I really look forward to in the morning. I'm like, when's my coffee gonna come?
I like it. What's your favorite off-season travel spot?
Oh my gosh. Well, this is the first off-season I had in like a really long time. So, I mean, I would just say somewhere that's like relaxing. Like I don't really have to do much. I'm not, sitting on a beach, having a drink, pretty chill. But yeah, nothing too crazy.
Do you have a favorite movie, TV show? What's making you laugh? What's making you smile?
Yeah. Nothing like to sit down and watch. I'm usually like, I doom scroll quite a bit. See, I'm addicted to my phone. Like I will sit there and scroll. Nothing as of late that's really been like catching my eye. Nothing is, super crazy. Yeah. I've really just tried to like learn how to like have, again, routine in the off season. It's like been so different for me as far as like this, I've just been on the grind for so long that I was like, I have all this free time. What do I do with it? Like, so it's been good, but also challenging to slow down a little bit and kind of find what that is. So
what's a song that when you hear it come on the radio or on your mix, whatever it might be, that makes you just want to get up and dance?
Oh my gosh. Can I look at my Spotify playlist right now? I'm trying to think of like
yes,
what,
please.
What's on your Spotify playlist?
Yeah, it's a mix of everything, Christian music, country music, some Latino music, nothing that's like Like also it's like old school R&B. I don't know. It kind of depends on the mood, you know. Also the weather for whatever reason like dictates like kind of what I want to, you know, listen to. So.
Oh, okay, so what's like like a sunny day versus like a rainy day? What's like the rainy day?
Yeah, so I would say, I would probably say, I don't know, sunny day would be like a country music Morgan Wallen song. Like I can listen to his whole, I know that sounds so, but I can listen to his whole album. Also, I'm a huge fan of Chris Stapleton, so any one of his songs too, I can really like go to. And then I would say, you know, there's this one, it's called Top Diesel by Bele. I don't know, it's but has like, yeah, so
I like
a little
it.
bit of, I don't know. I really like that.
It's a good dance beat. That's one I could say like comes on in the car, blast it, and you're dancing on drive.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It really just depends. Or if there's something like I just heard a new song in church the other day and I just really loved it. So sometimes that's just the only song. But usually I'm on the phone in the car. It's like my time to call my people. And so, yeah.
The last question I wanted to ask is, what is something that you wish people asked you about that they never do?
That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know if it's something that people don't ask me. It's just, I think that there's this, I guess I get it sometimes here is like obviously I've been really good at what I do, but I'm also like human inside, meaning like I have feelings and like I also want to learn about them. You know, I feel like sometimes the first question comes here versus actually what I want is the first question to go there. And I think that I also don't like attention, you know? So like, I'd rather just like, let's just talk that way. So I don't know if that's really doesn't answer. I've really been poor at this round of things, but I really just, I want to get to know people for where they're at in life. I think everybody's going through something and something hard usually. And so what does that look like? And, you know, how can we talk about the deep stuff? Like, I just like getting into that. So, cause life's not easy and we're all dealing with something. So, you know, whether it's a crazy dog, kids, you know, like other things that are really out of your control. Like, and I think some people think that my life is all together and it's been more than not. So yeah, I don't know. That was a long-winded answer, but yeah.
I love that.
No, I think that as like a player and a coach, like if I were a player and you were my coach, like to be able to have that relationship with you or just realize like, okay, you're vulnerable too. Or like you're actually curious about who I am as a player, not just like what my stats are. I think that's so effective and so powerful. And that would be the relationship I would want to have as a player and a teammate with you.
Totally. Yeah. And I think I also have like a little bit RBF when the most, like, it's been great, like in competitive situations, you know, but I think I've had to break that mold a little bit and just let people know that I'm here and I'm in it with them, you know? So it's, learning how to verbally like access that the best I can. So.
Yeah. Empathy is amazing and probably the best quality to have as a human. So, I mean, I applaud you for that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Lindsay, was there anything else you wanted to ask or shall we?
No, I think we're so grateful to have you on.
Yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us and talk about the new season, and congratulations on retiring from Team USA. It was an amazing career. How long do you want to play for? Do you know?
Yeah, this will probably be my last year. So yeah, that's coming up, and yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like you said, every day I wake up and I'm like going to practice. I'm like, how is this still happening? And the fact that I still get to do what I love is amazing. And I don't take a day for granted. And it's amazing. Like, I don't know. I wake up and I'm like, help it make sense. Like I've been taking good care of myself, but I also, you know, like there's days I'm like, man, I don't want to do this, but I'm in it and I love it. So here we are.
Well, we're grateful that you've been playing all this time and making volleyball so fun to watch. And
Thanks,
I saw you in Paris. We watched you on TV, and we're big fans. We're just so grateful to you and wish you so much luck in this next season and in your future. And can't wait to see what you decide to do next.
Thank you. And I'm excited to come hopefully back to New York. I had such a great time and hope to see you guys there. And yeah, just thanks for also being involved in the sport and expanding it. Like it all matters, right? So hope you guys feel that too. So
oh, thanks, Jordan. Yeah. And we'll definitely be watching this season with like extra love if this is going to be, you know, the last that we'll see of the professional circuit, because again, remember, we always can use subs on our adult rec teams.
Yeah, let me just fly right in. Maybe that's the solution. Maybe not here, maybe there. That would be better. So.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there, you know, just throwing it out there.
I like it. I like it. Well, thanks, guys. It was good to see you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jordan.
We'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.